Hey folks, JD here, and today we've got a nice little comparison video. This is the first comparison video I think I have done between a folding quadcopter and a rigid arm quadcopter. So, they're both made by Syma. The Syma X56W is a remarkable drone we saw that took the that when we did our last comparison video took the top spot away from the other folding quadcopter that we had at the time, and I was massively blown away from it. The camera is okay, but more than anything, the flight of this guy is absolutely incredible. The camera is okay, but the flight is incredible. The fact that its arms fold down as well just saves you a hell of a lot of space in your bag, as well as his very aerodynamic body giving you an excellent flight. Now with the Syma X15W, we saw this a couple of weeks ago. We saw that it had an okay camera again, but altitude hold same as the other copter, and flies remarkably well again. So I'm going to pitch these two against each other. Which one is going to be best? Let's find out. So first off, I'm going to be taking up this Syma X56W. So I haven't flown this for a couple of weeks, so I want to just refresh myself with this copter. So let's knock him on, and transmitter. There we go, we're all good to go. Right then, let's take him up. Right, so here we go. Very loud. Things that I'd forgotten. Very loud. Up, turns really slowly. Flips really well. Speed mode 2, there we go. I think I'm going to keep him in speed mode 2 for a while. Yeah, there we go, I remember now. Right. So, this little guy flies remarkably well. Because that's the thing, you think of a much larger quadcopter and you think you're going to be a little bit slower, a little bit more cumbersome. And yes, in speed mode 1 this is the case. They are a little bit slower, they are a bit more cumbersome. But then you put them into speed mode 2 and they really come into their own. And this guy is no different at all. So, beautiful. He is a lovely little copter. Yeah, this guy is really, really good. Okay, just changing speed modes just to remember there are only two speed modes with this copter, not 3. So you've got your first speed mode when you start off, and you've got speed mode 2, which is what I'm currently flying this copter in. Ooh, there's a little bit of a breeze then that just came from nowhere, and the copter just didn't seem to know what it was doing. All in all though, every movement that I make with the transmitter, it's picking up. It's picking up well. It's very fluid. It doesn't seem to be any issues at all. And certainly none that I can remember from the last quadcopter video. Right, okay, let's bring him back and let's take up the other Syma. Okay, so landing's a little bit hairy with that one. I had to bring it down quite slow, and then when I had brought it down quite slow, it didn't want to stay on the floor. The barometer was obviously reading how the change in air pressure, and then we wanted to take the quadcopter back up. So okay, then let's switch this one for the other Syma. So here we have the Syma X15W. Let's just turn this guy on. Let's just bind. There we go. So now we should be ready to take this guy up. Right, there she is, look. Okay, let's take her out. Oh yes, I remember how slow this guy was. Let's change him up into speed mode 2 already. Okay, speed mode 2, acting a hell of a lot better. I did notice with this copter as well that takeoff was a lot better. So with the other copter, takeoff was a little bit wobbly for some reason, and as it actually took off from the helipad, it took off and it seemed to veer to the right ever so slightly, whereas this guy just took off, bam, in a straight line, straight up, and then hovered. So I think this guy is notably a hell of a lot slower in speed mode 2 and speed mode 1 than the other Syma, making it an excellent beginner copter. But all in all, if you want something with a little bit more speed, something that can just dart about in the sky, then I don't think this copter is going to be for you. This is most definitely, as I would put it, the thinking man's quadcopter. Just as you can see there, from the moment I turned him around to the moment that he came back, that was quite slow. No disrespect to him. And there we go, you can see now. So he's fighting against this little breeze which we have all of a sudden got. Thank you, UK. And it's taken him so long. Look at that, flat out. And yet it's taken him so long to come back to me. But then if I go against the breeze, bam, he's right down the bottom before you blink. So yeah, I do believe underpowered motors with this guy when you compare them to the other Syma that we've got here today. But still, such a fun copter. Okay, so all in all, the flips work really well. If I just take him up a little bit, just to get a bit of height, bring him back to me a little bit. There we go, backwards flip, no problem. And those LEDs really do work really well. Okay, let's try the automatic landing. So it should, there we go, land straight without any issues at all. That's a really nice feature, I really like that. And we've also got automatic takeoff using the same shoulder button. And then he should, there we are, bam, straight up. No problems. So yeah, I really like this guy. I do, I can't help it. This guy is really good. But he's just, oh God, he's so slow. So let's bring him down. Let's take the other Syma back up as well, because this guy we've flown for a little bit longer. Okay, let's try this one's automatic takeoff. Right, so takes off really well. Immediately after flying the other guy, you notice straight away that this guy is just so much louder. Insanely loud. But then the power that this guy delivers is just undeniably a lot better. So much more power. It kicks in straight away from the minute you lift. Push it into speed mode 2 and then it delivers that. Right, speed mode 1. So click in the right thumb and click in the right analog stick. And speed mode 1 is still faster than speed mode 1 of the Syma X15W. But I do find that this copter wallows a bit when it turns. It's not as nice to turn, it's not as... It doesn't seem as... It doesn't seem that when it turns it's that carefully thought out. And what I mean with this one, once you turn, he still goes back. See that? Whereas with the Syma, once you turn, obviously because the speed is a lot slower as well, he just turns and just pivots and just shoots straight back off, cutting through the air with a sledgehammer rather than the appropriate tool. And it's a bit of a shame, but I still love it. Okay, so automatic landing as well. Oh, there's that problem I spoke of. Okay, I've had to intervene with this, but that was that issue that I spoke of just before we switched to the other Syma, where that you hit the automatic landing, as I did, he comes down and he just bobs, because the barometer inside this guy just automatically is so sensitive. He senses all the changes in the air pressure and the fact that he is low to the ground, and he just won't go down any further, so you do have to intervene. Not that much of an issue, but it is an issue when it stands up next against the Syma X15W. So let's see how they both fared. Okay, so what do I think of them both? Well, let's start off with the 56. So all in all, I think this is a great guy. He's fast, very fast. He's quite nimble as well. He does take a big arc to turn. The camera quality wasn't so great on this one, but it is still usable. Should you want to make a little video using it, then it still can be done. Altitude hold works really well, but it is a little bit of an annoyance when it comes down low to the ground and just bobs and doesn't properly sit. But I don't think that's going to be that much of an issue, as you can just pull down on the left analog stick and he will just land. So if you're after a quadcopter for speed, then this is your guy. So what do I think of the Syma X15W? Small, nimble, ballerina-esque as it flies. Altitude hold works really well. The automatic takeoff and landing works really well as well. But it is very small, and it doesn't. If you've got the slightest breeze, it won't be able to cut through it. Speed mode 1 is terribly slow. Speed mode 2 is also slow, but it's a great beginner quadcopter because you can learn to maneuver and you can learn to actually control the quadcopters properly, rather than just going in at 100 miles an hour and smashing it up. So all in all, I think both of them are excellent quadcopters, but if you're a beginner, I would go with the Syma X15W. If you're a little bit more intermediate to advanced, I would go with the X56W. So there we are, folks. Thanks ever so much for watching and listening. I've been JD, you've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So until next time, my friends, happy flying.